السلام عليكم خوتي، انا ما كنتم وحيث وجدتم. السلام عليكم. اليوم راح نديروا استجواب مع الاخ عبد الرزاق خلفي المعروف اندي. تكون الحوار بالانجليزيه، يعني نسالوه على حياته وخبرته هنا في بريطانيا. على كل حال مهم اختارش بها الناس اللي يعلموا، المهم عندنا ناس يتكلموا الانجليزيه ويقراوا الانجليزيه ويقراوا الانجليزيه، نخلوه ان شاء الله معهم. Today I'm going to interview Mr. عبد الرزاق خلفي about his life and his experience in the United Kingdom. السلام عليكم عبد الرزاق.
وعليكم السلام.
How are you?
I'm fine, yeah.
Please can you tell me about yourself?
Well, my name is Abdelrazak Khalfi, as you know. I'm 46, married in England. I've been here for 20 years. I'm a language teacher, English teacher.
I would like to, can you please tell us about your experience in the teaching English in the United Kingdom?
Well, I've been teaching English in the United Kingdom as far as I can remember since 1996 up to now. I worked in Brixton College, I worked in Enfield College, Islington College and Camden Training Centre, and I was also involved with the Algerian Association, where I had to work on voluntary basis, helping Algerians to improve their English language.
And also I seen you worked as volunteer during the Olympic 2012.
Yeah, I did actually for 6 weeks, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a great experience. We managed to interact with so many people. It was really a great experience. And
okay, tell us about involvement with the Algerian community in London.
Well, I was involved in 1997 just to help Algerians to translation and interpreting, and my main focus also was teaching English language, so it was mainly in Blackstock Road in Finsbury Park, and I managed to produce a series of tapes, I think 7 tapes, Algerian, Arabic into English language. They were quite successful. I managed to send so many tapes to Algeria, across the country, Batna, Algiers, Tizi Ouzou, Bijaya, Medea, Blida. So I went to every corner, nearly every corner in Algeria, to actually disseminate, to give out my tapes. So it was just really, that was a couple of years ago.
I have heard a lot of people calling you Andy. Can you tell me why people calling you Andy?
Well, first of all, Andy is a nickname, knowing that most Algerians have lots of nicknames. I was called Andy because when I started English language, studying English language in Algeria.
During your time?
Yeah, during my time, there was a course book called Andy in Algeria. So because I was really fond of English language, so all my classmates, they used to call me Andy. But it has nothing to do with my official name, as you know that.
Abdelrazak.
Abdelrazak, yeah.
Abdelrazak Khalfi.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what's the obstacle you face in teaching English for Algerians in the United Kingdom or in London or in Algeria?
Well, basically, when I was teaching in official colleges and training centres, it was quite organised. But when I was teaching the community in this country,
you mean the Algerian community?
Algerian, particularly in Blackstock Road, we faced a problem of materials. The timetable, the place, the space was not adequate, actually not enough, and also the commitment of Algerians. Basically, most of them, they work, sometimes some of them really in depression, so it was so hard to get a proper class like 20 students, and retain the retention of the students. So I did struggle, but it was a great experience to meet Algerians and to help them to improve their verbal communication and written communication in English language.
I'm talking about the obstacles in Algeria as well.
Well, in Algeria, I think as far as we know, English language is not really widespread in Algeria, and basically since 2002, I managed to visit lots of colleges, private colleges, even universities. I've been to Algiers, Bijaya. I was invited to international school, the Colloque International in Bijaya, the University of Bijaya, in Sibawi, in Oran. I think the main obstacles, authentic materials and qualified teachers. Most of our English teachers, they teach in Algeria. They are graduated at the different universities of Algiers, so they don't actually have the opportunity to travel to England or to America for training to improve their English language. So particularly materials and the exposure for the language. You can't speak English outside the classroom in Algeria, so you have to. Most students, they struggle to communicate in English language because they can't speak it outside, like if we are in the UK or if we are in America
or Ireland,
for example, or Australia or Canada.
Abdulrazak,
Yeah.
can you tell me how do you see the future of English language in Algeria?
I think according to David Crystal, he's a linguist. He wrote something about Algeria. I think there is a shift between from French language to English language. I see there's a big future for English language in Algeria, and I've seen a lot of initiatives from language teachers, English language teachers. Lots of schools are opened for students if they want to learn English. Knowing English is a global language, we use it everywhere in technology, in travel, in all sorts of things. So I think there's a bright, good future of English language in Algeria.
Abdulrazak, what's your future or plans in Algeria to promote English language?
Well, I think basically to open up. That's a very, very interesting question. I was waiting for it. I think it's probably open up a school for English language, and also a social club where people can interact in English language. Possibly a small library where people can read in English language. Promoting tapes and CDs for the community in Algeria, basically, and to actually create an association, English language association for the teachers of English language in Algeria, to share experience and basically to knowing that French language is actually not doing much in Algeria. We have to switch English language as an international language, used in technology, in travel, used by the Japanese, used by all sorts of people in this world. So it's time for the government to actually put some money towards the investment and to help the English language teach Algerians to actually promote the language and to. I believe they have to switch to English language, and they should start teaching it from primary school. I know it's a bit of a dream, but nothing is actually impossible. Knowing that the Americans and the British are willing actually to help the Algerian government and to promote their English language.
As you heard or seen, a lot of Algerian here teaching in UK university, Ireland, and in the United States.
Yeah.
So why not using this Algerian back home?
This is my main concern actually, because knowing that we heard that the Algerian government actually recruited 250 or 300.
I believe 300.
300
from India.
From
Indians, yeah.
I don't see the point. Why can't they use the Algerians in England, in USA, in Canada, in Australia?
Ireland.
In Ireland, definitely. We've got enough English language teachers, Algerians, very qualified. They're linguists. They can teach the language. They can teach phonetics. They can teach linguistics, literature, all sorts of things. And my question, why is the government a bit biased, or is the government reluctant actually to help us to be able to go back to Algeria and teach the language? I don't see why they have to bring people from India. What's the point of bringing, if we have qualified Algerians and they're able actually to teach in Algeria, they can use them.
I see the Indians, if they bring them as IT teachers, okay, information technology,
yeah,
and things.
but not for the language.
Why no language?
But in terms, because people now, they're talking about received pronunciation, they're talking about clear pronunciation, and knowing that Indian teachers, I'm not trying to.
It's nothing to do with against those people.
It's not racism. This is purely phonetics, and they have the problem of the reflexive. They've got problem of certain sounds when they produce them. So, for example, the da and da, the sound da, that doesn't actually reflect the right pronunciation of the received pronunciation. but compared to Algerians, they are actually well spoken. Their pronunciation very, very clear. As you can see, the way I'm talking. I mean, people now, they admire what we call received pronunciation. I keep saying it's standard received pronunciation. If you see the Indian, the way they speak, a very poor pronunciation. So I don't see why the government is not actually helping us to go back and do something about the English language in Algeria.
I mean, you and a lot of people like you as well,
Of
as
course,
a teacher.
I'm nothing compared to so many Algerians, very qualified, and some of them they had to go to Saudi Arabia to teach.
Gulf states.
Gulf states, because they are better treated.
Even here in United
Yeah.
Kingdom, there's a lot teachers, Algerian
Of
teachers,
course, yeah.
at university.
At universities in Ireland, there are at least 300-400 people I know in London, in the United Kingdom. And when I was interviewed 2005 there was a job advertised by Language Solutions. When I was interviewed, they told me that they can only pay me £300 a month, compared to the Indian teachers. They get 2,000
Flights,
accommodation. So
and
what's
probably
the point?
4,000
They
euro.
treat us like, I don't know. They're really undermining the capacity of Algerians in the teachers abroad. If the Algerian government uses this power and capacity, they will actually we promote the teaching of English language and in a proper way, because I've been here for 20 years, so I've got lots of experience. I worked in so many colleges, in so many training centres, and for the time being, I'm studying part-time at the university just to enhance my skills in linguistics. But I've got plans to promote English language in Algeria. But we found lots of obstacles from the government. The government is not actually helping us to promote that language.
Finally, it's nice to have you with me as Hna Fi Hna. What's your message toward all Algerians around the world, and especially here and everywhere else?
What kind of messages? I think basically I believe that anyone who's listening to me, there's always hope in Algeria. I hope all these people, the qualified intellectual Algerians in the United Kingdom, in Australia, in Canada, in America, in Europe, in the Gulf states, if we go back and build the country, I think Algeria will be one of the most advanced country in the world. We've got everything in Algeria. We don't need to come here.
All that happen if we have the right people.
If we have the right people in the right place, exactly, yeah. So I hope this message lots of people hear it in Algeria and everywhere, for all Algerians everywhere.
I have met a lot of Algerians when they come into London. They don't speak language. They try to speak to English people in French, and they say, "What are you talking about?"
It's a shame, because flying to Algeria is only 2.5 hours from London to Algiers, and it's a shame that most Algerians, they come here with they have no communication skills in English language. You compare to Somalian, you compare to all countries, they all speak English language. I don't see why the government, as again I'm keep saying it, stressing it, why the government is not investing in teaching English language and introducing it in primary school, and to promote it. And I hope that this message will be heard by so many people, and it will be a good initiative to meet all the English language teachers, Algerians, where through this Hna Fi Hna we can meet so many Algerians. And this is Hna Fi Hna, knowing that I hope the message will be heard by so many people, particularly Algerians anyway, and maybe it's a good opportunity for all Algerians who actually teach English in Algeria and abroad to meet together and to connect. And connection is quite important, and we can create something in the future for the country. We can, particularly, as I said, promoting the English language teaching. Lots of books are written in technology and medicine in English language. Why not actually, if all Algerians, particularly the students, master English language, they can have access to all the references, all the books, And I met, when I was in Algeria, I met doctors, and they're willing to learn English because they need to be able to understand the conference, and they need to be able to understand other doctors who speak English. So English language was like become something quite compulsory in every country now as a global language. And thank you very much indeed for listening.
Abdelrazak, plus we have new generation, Algerian generation,
of course, new
here.
generation, and knowing that now the internet is English language is everywhere on the internet, technology, medicine, art, everything.
Communication, mobile phones.
So you should have some knowledge of English language. We're not only promoting for the students, we're promoting for ordinary Algerians. At least they can understand and use in English language. They can read information on the internet in English language, and accessible to everybody, not just for specific students. So my aim actually to promote it across the country, and in primary schools, in small villages, and everywhere.
خويا عندي يعطيك الصحة.
شكرا.
يعطيك الصحة. نقول خوتنا نعاودوا نزيدوا ريكوردوا معاه مرة أخرى مع عبد الرزاق. شكرا. رسالتك بالعربية لخوتنا يشوفوك.
سلم على كل على لي زالجيريان كامل، على لا فامي تاعي، وعلى لي زونسينيون دونغلي، وكاين توجور ان فيوتور في الجيري الحمد لله. بالك لا لونغ انجليز دون 10 راح تتواسع الجيري، راح تتطور بزاف، وبقاو معنا باتصال. انا توجور هنا.
وهذه رسالتنا للمسؤولين، الناس خاصة المسؤولين في التعليم والتربية.
التعليم والتربية لازم يديرون كونسيديراسيون باللي لا لونغ انجليز، اللغة الانجليزية لغة عالمية مهمة جدا، ولازم تدخل في التعليم في الابتدائي مع السوق احسن. انا نشوف التجربة تاع السعودية، تاع البي، تاع الجولف، تاع الاخر، كل حاجة بالانجلي. انا كي رحت ليجيبت، رحت للبنان،
اليابان كذا، لا اليابان
في كل مكان الشوارع باللغه الانجليزيه، كل يعني اي انسان بسيط يتكلم معاه يتكلم معك باللغه الانجليزيه. وحنا في الجزائر يقرا تلقى يتوجيو ما يقدرش يكومونيكي معك، عادي انسان عادي ما يقدرش يهضر.
الفرنساويه خلاص وقتها اخويا. انا نشوف فرنسي فينيش.
الفرنسي لي فرونسي متعلموا في لونجلي في فرنسا. كيفاش
احنا في الجزائر يهضروا الفرنسي. خويا عبد الرزاق يعطيك الصحة.
صحيته.
ومرة أخرى إن شاء الله نزيدوا الريكورد معك خوتي. هذا هو، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. من لندن، من فانسبي بارك، نحييكم وأتمنى لكم أمتع الأوقات وأسعدها، والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.